December, I hit my first 10K. So 2 months in, I hit my first 10K. January was, I think, 13. February, we've already hit somewhere between 14 and 15. And the leads, they keep coming in. I've got 6 sales calls today. I've got 4 tomorrow. Like, this is the biggest week I've ever had.
Welcome back to AR Podcast. I have Bailey here. We actually met in a very weird situation. I can't wait to share that with you. But man, how are you doing today?
Doing fantastic, man. It's a busy day, but we love it.
I'm loving it. How's that weather treating you?
Dude, honestly, it's been up and down here in Florida, but
Yep.
Today's a beautiful day. It's like 75 degrees, sunny. Been taking my little walk breaks throughout the day, taking my shirt off, getting some sun. Getting ready to move to Idaho, though, dude. Idaho's going to be wild. It's going to be a big difference.
When is that?
End of next month. So we got like 5 weeks till we move. Driving across the country.
You got the place picked out? You got all the things ready to go?
Finally. Yeah, man.
Finally.
It's been a little hectic trying to get it all squared away, but we're finally ready.
Why are you moving across the country?
So my wife is originally from Boise, Idaho, and she has a wedding planning business. And her wedding planning business has required a lot of travel for her over the last year. She's been flying back and forth at least once a month for the last year, and it's been a lot. And so I do coaching, right? I could do coaching anywhere. Mm-hmm. I'm also a nurse. So as a nurse, I could do that anywhere too. So it kind of just makes sense for us. We're trying to start a family too. So the goal is to get out there, start a family, be closer to her family while we do that. And then we'll see what happens. We may end up coming back. We may not.
Sure. Now she's flying up there because she's getting work up there because she knows people from there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. She's like a preferred vendor for a lot of the wedding venues, and most of her weddings are there. I mean, we're doing a wedding in Italy next year. So she's expanding, but that's cool. The base of her business, it's going to be fun. The base of her business is in Idaho. So
yeah, you just get to tag along.
I do, man. I'm like the workhorse. She just tells me what to move and where to move it. And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm in.
I love it, man.
Yeah.
Well, dude, I'm going to give a quick recap. Who do you help and how long have you been doing it now?
Yeah. So I help nurses and healthcare workers. I help them lose body fat, get out of their own way, really, and just set a really solid foundation for a leaner, stronger, healthier life. I've been doing this for about 4 years now. Been working as a nurse for about 4 years. And as soon as I started working as a nurse, that's when I realized people needed help. Because I'm a big fitness geek. I love it. I've been doing it for 10, 15 years now. But I realized very quickly that the demands of nursing and working 12-hour shifts and having time to prep meals and go to the gym and figure out that schedule and just stick with it is tough. It was tough for me. It was a big change from what I was doing before. Before I started nursing, I was working out 5-6 days a week. I had plenty of time, after work or before work to go work out, go prep meals. And then when I started working 12s, I started off, trying to continue doing what I was doing before. And 3 months in, I was like, shit, this is not it. I was gassed out. I had no energy. I was not making progress. I was kind of going backwards. My stress levels were high. My sleep was off. And I realized it doesn't actually take as much work as you think it does to get in shape and get healthier. It just takes a lot of intention. It takes being very smart about your time and just being real with yourself and making it a priority, honestly, because there's plenty of nurses out there, many of whom I've coached, are crushing it. Like, they're losing weight, they're getting in crazy good shape, and it's by doing less work than what they were doing before. So that's my whole thing is just simplifying it for nurses and healthcare workers.
So what would be the number one piece of advice you would give a nurse that's working at 12?
Number one piece of advice? Ooh, that's tough. I would say prep your meals, prep your food. You cannot show up to a 12-hour shift with no meals planned, with no meals prepped, and expect to reach your goals. You just can't do it because we know how busy it is when you show up to a shift. You hit the ground running. You got call lights going off. You got people asking for you. You got people coming up to you all day long, taking your time away from you. And if you don't have a plan of, okay, I've got my breakfast ready to go. I'm eating my breakfast on the way to work. For the first 3 hours of work, I'm going to be slammed busy. I'm not going to have time to eat. I'm not going to have time to really do anything besides for take care of my patients. Then I know I have a 10, 15, maybe 20-minute gap where I can run in the break room, eat my second meal. Then I can go do my thing. I have a lunch break a few hours later, crush my lunch that I prepped, something that's going to taste good, something that's not like plain ass chicken and rice that we're going to hate and be miserable eating. And then we get back to it. And then we got to have a plan for when we get home. And then it's a continuous process, right? Because the days on look different than the days off. So you got to learn how to maximize time on and time off when you're working.
I like that. And so basically what you're saying is that on the days that somebody's working, the goal is to make sure we dial in and hit the food. But you didn't mention anything about a routine of on those days that we're working of maybe hitting the gym. And so do you find that somebody that works 12s, it's better to focus on your, let's say, off days of work to then focus on the gym?
100%. I would say 95 to 100% of my clients are not working out on the days that they work a 12-hour shift. The only exception to that would be if you're a night shift nurse, then I recommend hitting a workout before you go into your shift. So let's say you're going into your night shift 7 o'clock. You're going to work out at like 5, right? After you have woken up at 2 or 3 in the afternoon, had a small meal, fueled yourself, then you go hit your workout, then you get another meal in, and then you go work your shift. But that's different than someone that's working a normal day shift. On those days, man, trying to hit a workout after a 12, more like 13-hour shift, you're not going to get much out of it.
Totally. That completely makes sense, man. And so for those that are, you finding success from a client perspective, those that are working out on those days, it's before shift, not after shift.
Yep, 100%, because you're fresh, right? You're going into it, you've had a good night of sleep or a good day of sleep, you've had a meal in you, and you're ready to go. You're not drained from the shift, going into the workout. You're going into the workout full of energy, fully recovered, and then you can go into your shift. And usually what I find is people will have more energy after the workout, right? You feel better if your workouts are designed intelligently and you're not going in there like a madman and just going crazy. Which as nurses, that's even more important is managing the fatigue and the recovery. So many people are in there just grinding themselves down 5 days a week, 6 days a week, and they're wondering why they're stuck and they're not making progress. They're doing too much.
Why is it in your mind that the number one field for healthcare is one of the most unhealthiest field as far as the people working in it?
I think it's a couple things. One of the biggest ones is nurses are extremely selfless. So nurses are very, very good at taking care of other people. We put other people before ourselves 95% of the time. And most nurses, they never really learn that that's not going to keep you healthy. That's not going to help you reach your goals if you continue putting everyone else's needs before yourself. And I know that might sound crazy, but you got to be a little bit selfish, right? Because if you're not taking care of your health, you can't even expect to go take care of someone else in the best way that you can. So I think it's just a mindset thing. Is we get so overwhelmed with work, we just don't even think about it. We don't even think about taking care of ourselves. And then on those days, we'll have a hard shift. And then the next day, a lot of nurses are just spending the whole day in bed or at home watching Netflix, scrolling TikTok because they're so beat up and they're so exhausted from the shift before. And so they're leaving a lot of progress on the table by not, planning in advance, by not being intentional and taking care of their own health.
Do you find that a lot of nurses that, let's say, work night shift have terrible routines?
Yeah. One of the craziest things I see every time I'm doing report, giving it to the night shift, is these guys will roll up with an energy drink in their hand, with a bag of chips, and that's it. They come into work crushing caffeine at 7:30 p.m. just to make it through the night shift. They don't eat right. They're not sleeping right on their days off whenever they get off work. It's very sporadic. And a lot of times they'll try to keep the same schedule that they have with nights. Some nurses will try to completely flip-flop their schedule, so they'll stay up a full day, and then they'll try to change their schedule for 2 days, and then they'll go back to the night shift schedule. And I find that that's probably even worse for you because your circadian rhythm is so important for everything, for energy, for your hormones, for your fat loss, for your muscle gain, everything. So hopefully that answers your question.
For sure. And so what allows you to separate yourself and not fall into this trap that seems that all your peers do? I say all, a lot,
yeah. I would say the biggest thing is my health is the number one priority in my life.
Why?
It's not why? Well, man, I'm a busy guy. I got a wife. We're trying to start a family. I know how good it feels to have good health, and it's my biggest fear to let that go to waste. It's a gift from God. Good health is a gift from God.
Amen.
And I could never let myself take that for granted. It's so important to me, and it's selfish, but at the same time, I'm doing it for my family. I'm doing it for my patients. I'm doing it for my coworkers so I can help them out too. But it all comes down to putting my health as the number one priority aside from God in my life.
You made mention there that you want to feel good and you know what it's like not to feel good. What about the person that doesn't actually know what feeling good actually feels like? because they live in this constant not feeling good, and that becomes normal, and they don't know what's on the other side. What would be your advice for that person? What would you tell them?
Yeah, I would say to spend some time reflecting and think about how much better your day would be when you wake up and you're not feeling like you just slept for an hour and a half. When you go to the gym and you're not feeling miserable and dragging yourself through a workout, you're actually excited. You're feeling good. You're getting a good pump. You're getting a good workout. You're getting stronger. Thinking about going on a vacation and showing up on the cruise ship, taking your shirt off and being freaking stoked about it because your health is your number one priority, because you put yourself first. I know it's hard for people to conceptualize that because so many people are just used to living in a position where they don't know what good feels like. So they don't even really feel bad. That's just their normal. I just want to tell you, it gets so much better, and it does not take as much work as you think. It just takes intention and it takes consistency.
You just got back from a vacation, right?
I did. Yep.
How was it?
Oh, it was beautiful, man. We did a 5-day cruise. We went out to the Bahamas. We went to the Dominican. It was phenomenal. And this is something I noticed with a lot of nurses too, is a lot of nurses love to travel, right? Because we have that great schedule that allows us to work 3 days in a row, and we can take 5 days off, and then we can work another 2 or 3 days in a row after that. But those 5 days, man, nurses make decent money. We love to travel, especially when you might have a wife or a girlfriend, you don't have kids. Nurses that are in their 20s and 30s, that's prime time. It's a great field to be in, to go see the world and travel and, have new experiences with your wife or even yourself or your friends. And it's a blessing, right? But it takes work to get to the point where you can go on those vacations and not feel miserable.
Yeah. What would you tell the person that thinks that you ate nothing but chicken and rice on that cruise?
Dude, if I pulled up my phone right now, you would be blown away. That buffet at on that Virgin cruise, every morning, French toast, bacon, every night, 5-course meals. Like the food, I'm the biggest foodie I know. I love food more than anyone I know. And I hate for people to think that they can't enjoy food and still be in great shape. I think the biggest misconception is that it's all or nothing. Like you got to either eat healthy or you can't. Or if you have one thing that's not on your meal plan, you messed up. That couldn't be further from the truth.
Is food something that's a really big part of working with you?
100%. I would say that's probably 60 to 75% of what we do is helping you figure out your food situation. So starting off, just getting a baseline, like I'll have my clients track their food and I'll say, okay, where are we starting at? Right? Because I'm not the kind of coach, I'm never going to give you a meal plan and say, here you go, good luck. I'm going to have you track your food. We're going to do a deep dive into how many meals you're eating in a day. What do those meals look like? Are you getting protein? Are you getting any fiber? How often do you go out to eat? How many meals are you prepping at home or cooking? Are you cooking for your family? You're just cooking for yourself. So we do a deep dive and we just build off of the very, very basics. First thing is we start getting protein in every meal. And then we build on things like that. Then we start getting into calories and we say, okay, this is how many calories we need to be roughly aiming for during this period of time for you to reach your goal of losing 20, 30, 40 pounds. And then once we get there, I actually teach clients to dial back, take the foot off the gas a little bit, and not have to worry about tracking food. I tracked my food religiously for 10 years. I haven't tracked my food in the last 3, and I'm in better shape now than I ever have been. So it's not the fact that you have to track your food. It's just you have to understand what you're eating. And by tracking your food, you can get a solid understanding of like, what am I actually taking in? And you can look at the food choices. You can look at how many meals you're eating, how often you're eating out, and you can just make adjustments to that. But the big thing is so many people think that they can get in great shape without tracking food. And you can. It's just going to be a lot harder because you're going to have to be a lot more strict with yourself. You're going to have to eat the same things every single day. You're going to have to say no to a lot more foods that you don't necessarily have to say no to because you don't understand how to manipulate your calories on certain days. I have clients that go out to eat every weekend and they're losing weight. I've got clients that travel multiple times per year, going on week-long trips, not tracking their food while they're on vacation, but they come back and they're still in great shape and they get right back to what they were doing before. So it's all about strategy. It's really all it is.
Why do you think people yo-yo so much in the health nursing field?
I think one of the biggest things is people are taking advice from these gurus and these influencers that they see. And there's so much misinformation online about what is good and what is bad, or what is healthy and what is not healthy. I think the lines are very blurred and people are desperate for change. People that are 30, 40, 50 pounds overweight, they're desperate. So they're willing to try anything. at the end of the day, and I hate to say this, they're avoiding doing the one thing that they know will actually work, which is taking full accountability and really tracking your food. Just getting a solid grasp on what you're actually eating and not looking for the shortcuts, because people love the shortcuts and they work until they don't.
I love that, man. That's great. So, dude, what is lean in?
Lean in is, I wish I had a better story of how I came up with the name. I was fresh out of nursing school, and I was like, man, I was an in-person trainer before nursing school. I was doing that for a while. I didn't love the in-person stuff because I was living at the gym. I had clients that would cancel on me all the time, and they weren't really invested. They were kind of just showing up, checking the box. And I realized, okay, I've already got a medical background. Nursing is, I love helping people. I love the medical side of things. So I went to nursing school. I was like, this is going to be great because now I can coach people on my days off. I can start an online business where I'm helping people with their nutrition, with their workouts, with their lifestyle 4 days a week instead of trying to do it 7 days a week and being miserable. So I was able to kind of kill two birds with one stone. And really, the name Lean In came from just the mindset that anything you want to do, it's going to be hard. Anything that's worth doing is going to be difficult, but you have to lean into that. The people that lean into the hard stuff, that don't avoid it, those are the ones that you see making the crazy progress, living the dream. Is they understand, okay, this is going to be hard. The next 3 months of this fat loss phase is going to be a little difficult, but I'm going to lean into it. I'm going to make the most of it. I'm not going to back out and be dipping my toes in the water. I'm going to go all in. So that's where the name comes from.
I love it. I want to talk about a mindset real quick. I want to get your take on it because I think I view it a little bit differently than most. When we say something is hard, what is actually hard about following the program and leaning into it? What do we find that people think that's hard versus what's actually hard?
I think what's hard is convincing yourself that you are actually capable of the thing that you want to do. It's just most of the time, people that don't ever achieve their goals, they're afraid of what will happen if they try and they fail.
So it's a belief.
It's 100% a belief. 100%. It starts here. Now, obviously, you can think all the great positive thoughts. You can think about being a calorie deficit. You can think about doing the workouts, but it's two-sided, right? If you don't show up and you don't actually try, it doesn't matter how much you believe in yourself. You have to actually do it. And people have convinced themselves that they're too busy or they're too tired or they don't have gym access, so they can't work out. Whatever, right? They're too busy on their shifts to meal prep. They're too tired when they get home from a shift to make a healthy meal and go for a walk before bed. And it's the avoidance of the little things like that prevent people from building that momentum in the start. Because people notice when they start working with me, they're kind of shocked. They're like, this is it? This is all we're doing? Like, all you want me to do is walk 7,000 steps a day and eat 150 grams of protein? Yeah. Can you do that? And then people will come up with excuses and tell me why they can't do it. Those are the people that take longer to see the results. And I have to spend more time convincing them that they can do it, because everyone can do it, man. Sure. Especially you, like, you're one of the busiest dudes I know, and you're dialed in. Like,
because I think my definition of hard is different than most.
Yeah. What would you consider hard?
Hard is something that is physical. Hard is squatting 400 pounds. I don't find it very hard not to put something in your mouth that you're not supposed to eat. Because the definition of hard is that it's actually not hard. It's actually the easiest thing to do is to not do. Now, I don't think people view it that way, but with that mentality, it becomes very easy. I also have the argument, hey, you want to stop smoking? What do? You just stop. Like, it's actually not hard. It's actually harder to constantly go to the gas station, get out of the car, go tell them what you want, wait in the line, then spend your hard-earned money, and then have to open it, pack it, do all. Takes more energy to do the thing than not to do the thing. So to the definition of what hard actually is, it's easier not to do the thing.
100%.
Now, somebody will come back and argue that, but my definition isn't wrong. It's just we justify all the other things. Well, I'm addicted to the nicotine, or it's the oral fixation, or it helps me do this or helps me do that. Those are all just justifications. It's actually not hard to do. It's not hard not to do something. I think that's the real mindset in which we get to, right? I think the physical activity is what becomes difficult because that is the definition. So for me, it's like hard is running like 5 miles.
Yeah, that shit ain't easy.
It's technically not hard to walk. Now, are there outliers of people 350 pounds with knee problems and it is painful and it is hard? Yes. At the same time, the fastest way to lose the weight is stop doing this, which is not hard, right? So then you reduce the weight, which then makes the knee not hurt as bad, reduces the inflammation so you can actually start walking. So I think it just comes with like, the more aggressive you get on that mindset of change, I think the easier you'll see that it's actually not that hard. But when we go, man, like there's this giant wall I have to get over, it's like you're viewing it as this giant wall. What you're not seeing is that there's a door right in front of you. You just go through it. But when we look at it from the macro, it's like, geez. But it's like, but if you don't eat the thing, that's the unlock. I view hunger, for example, it's there's two ways to look at hunger. Like, I need a cheeseburger so bad. Or, hey, I'm hungry. That means I'm burning fat. This is an amazing opportunity. Let's hold out for 30 minutes until our next meal instead of making a poor decision. This is a good thing. Hunger is great. It's just as easy to think one way or the other.
It is.
You decide.
Yeah,
because technically it's not hard.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the example I give my clients all the time when we got the break room parties going on. Like I feel like every other day there's donuts or there's pizza or there's whatever. Somebody's got a birthday, somebody's leaving, somebody's having a baby. It's easy for me to walk past the break room and say, "No, I'm good. I got a meal in the fridge. I'm good. I don't have to go in. I don't even enter. 90% of the time, I don't even enter the room. I'll peek in there and I'll say, 'What's up, guys?' Like congratulations or whatever." And I'll say, "That's it. I'm not even going in the room. I'm not even going to put myself in that situation."
Remove the trigger.
That's it.
Yep.
When you forward plan and you have a meal packed for your snack for the day, you can do that. But it's a lot harder to show up and walk past the break room when you got nothing, when you got no food. It's a lot easier.
It's better than nothing.
Yeah. No, like so much easier to say, okay, like I have a meal. I'm going to eat it. I prepped it. Like, why not? Well, I'm not going to waste my food.
Let's talk about the power of saying no.
I love that.
I quit drinking last year. And every time I would go to drink, I quit drinking. I'd have like 8 outings, maybe once a month. I go out and have maybe 1 to 2 drinks, right? Maybe one outing I have like, a bottle of wine or a bottle of champagne or something like that, right? Where it's like, let's say 3 to 4 to 5 drinks. Very rare, like once a year maybe. So I wouldn't even consider it a drinker. I was just, as most people, I would say like somebody goes to drink, so you just get 1, 2. You didn't plan on drinking, but so-and-so is doing it. So yeah, I'll just get a glass as well. Yeah. Give me a margarita too. Right? The peer pressure drink. The peer pressure drinker. That's what I was.
I've been a victim of the peer pressure drink many a time in my life.
Yeah. But like, that's just one aspect of like the peer pressure decision. So-and-so's getting an appetizer. Yeah, let me get some of those cheese fries. Yeah, let me eat that roll too. Yeah, I'll get a dessert also. One meal won't hurt you. Yeah, you're right. Those little things like compound. What people don't think about is what compounds when you say no. If you can say no to a drink, it becomes really easy to start saying no to people. Like really easy. And what I noticed is obviously I've done like 15 shows over the past 15 years. I've gone through seasons to where I'm like, it's a hard no. But when we don't have a real goal in place like a show and we're just trying to lose 20 pounds and become our best self, the motivation is not as high because there's not a deadline to the thing, right? Like if you were going to run a race and running, you would train harder if there was a race versus I'm just going out to run because I enjoy it. It's not exercise. We're training. Yep. We're preparing, right? Mm-hmm. So that's becomes the difference is when we're on a diet, it becomes very easy to lock in because it's everybody gets a no. But when the diet's over and we hit our goal or milestone or did the trip, the vacation, and then we go back to our old normal, then the power of no isn't there. And so I think it's very interesting that people underestimate the power of saying no. The only confidence you need is to tell somebody no. That gives you all the confidence to achieve whatever goal that you have is not by saying yes to opportunities. It's saying no to certain opportunities. 100%. I think that's the unlock a lot of people don't realize.
It's huge. It's huge. And another thing people don't realize with saying no is that just because you're saying no doesn't mean you can't have a good time. Doesn't mean you can't go do the thing. You can still go out to eat. You can still go to the party. You can still go on the cruise and you can still say no to getting hammered every day.
I'll give you a great example. I did Nationals bodybuilding show and my coach, it was his 25th birthday. And we went out Wednesday. My show's Saturday. I'm in the middle of peak week. We go out to dinner. I tell them where we're going to go. I say, hey, you got to order these foods. These are great. You got to get the dessert. And I eat my prep meal that is weighed out because I'm stepping on stage in my underwear in 3 days. And I watch them enjoy it. And they're like, I can't believe you're here. I wouldn't miss it for the world, buddy. It's your birthday. The power of saying no in a situation like that allows you to have more joy and be able to live life, because when we struggle with saying no, we got to remove the trigger. But if you're the one that determines what to trigger, then it becomes really easy. You got to start with removing the trigger, and then you have to slowly introduce yourself back to those things that used to trigger you and test your power of saying no. And once you get the practice of that, it's like, dude, you can go anywhere and do anything and be successful. Like it becomes so easy. It's like such a massive unlock.
It's like a superpower,
so
man.
It's just getting that first over the hump. Like when my kids got food and I buy them these things, it's like, well, first of all, they probably shouldn't be eating those anyway. So you should probably remove those from the house altogether. But that's another, that's going to be another clip, another Instagram story there. But it's like removing those things so that you can do what's best for you and then slowly introduce those things back in so that you have the ability to then say no to those things. That becomes the secret.
Yeah. And for
Speaking
so many
belief, how did we meet?
So actually, I don't know if you know this, but you were on my radar before we actually met in person.
I did not know that.
Yeah. You were on my radar for probably 2 years before we met.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I did not know
like,
that. That's cool.
I think you might have Instagram DM'd me or something.
Probably.
But yeah, my wife and I, we went out to Matt Vincent and Bonnie's event, Not Dead Yet Mastermind, out in St. Louis. And first off, absolutely incredible people. Some of the best people you'll ever meet in your life. Mm-hmm. Just the way that they live is something that my wife and I try to emulate all the time. It's just it's beautiful to see how much they support each other, how much they love each other, and how dedicated they are to achieving their mission in life. So yeah, we went out to the mastermind and got acclimated, met some people, and eventually I spotted you, and I was like, wait a minute, this guy looks familiar. I was like, man, he's actually a lot bigger in person too, way more jacked than I thought he was. I was like, hell yeah. So I was instantly drawn to you. I'm like, all right, I got to talk to this guy. So yeah, we just ended up meeting there, and I kind of gave you a little bit of insight into my business and where we were at. And you told me about what you were doing, and I was fired up. I was like, yeah, this is awesome. A week later, I signed on to work with you guys, and it's been
man. That's cool. What was the number one thing you learned at that event?
The number one thing I learned at that event would be that I am ultimately the expert. I'm the expert in what I do. I was kind of going through the motions for a while, and I realized that I didn't fully believe that I was the expert, that I was the one that was able to get my clients the results that they deserved. And I walked away.
Even though we were producing the results.
Even though we were already doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just didn't, something in me, I think seeing and hearing from you and Matt and like Bo, the other guys that were there, just seeing what you guys were doing, it reminded me of my future self. I was like, okay, I actually see myself being in a position like how you guys are. And I was like, I realized I was living in this thinking about who I'm going to be in the future and not actually just focusing on being that person now. So I really just came away with the mindset that I just need to be the person now. I need to lean in to what I'm trying to build and trying to become. And it was a damn good feeling, man. The business started taking off after that event.
Yeah, we got a little bit of clarity also on what it is you're trying to do inside the business. I think the most important thing I think you might have learned from that also would be, who do I want to serve? Who do I want to help? You care to talk about that?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so before we talked, I was doing good on Instagram, had a lot of followers, was gaining some traction. I had a decent following, good engagement.
75,000, better than decent, but yeah, go ahead.
The business didn't reflect that. The business,
Sure.
It was a lot of front end metrics, like, flashy. It looked great on Instagram. The numbers looked cool, but I wasn't making nearly as much or helping nearly as many people as I knew that I could be and should be.
Or wanted to.
Yeah. And you ultimately helped me realize that, like I said, I am the expert in helping nurses get out of their own way. I'm the expert in helping nurses get in shape and realizing how simple it actually is to live healthy, to get strong, to be confident, because I've done it and I'm doing it every single day.
There's no better person to teach somebody than your peer right beside you doing it.
100%. And I've leaned into that. I hate to keep saying it, but I've leaned into that and realized, okay, I need to start speaking more directly to the people that I'm trying to help in my content. And
so How long have you been a part of AR now?
It's been about 4 months.
Okay. And what's something that you probably hated doing or didn't like doing before you signed up with AR?
I would say the DMs were tough. Sending out mass messages to people, like the funnel side, the backend stuff. I didn't have that set up. So when I would make a post and say, comment this word, I would have 150 people comment, and I would have to go into my DMs and send them individually. And I know that's one of the simplest things you guys do, but it bought me back so much time.
Yeah, it's funnel
So
number
much.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah, love that. And also it's better speed to lead. Like no one gets dropped, just automating the process. And now we're responding back to those that actually responded to us, so that we're having conversations with people that are engaged versus you just chasing down people having to manually follow up.
100%.
And so what were your numbers? What were your sales numbers prior to joining AR?
Recurring was about 7 to 8K a month. Since then, we've built it up. December, I hit my first 10K. So 2 months in, I hit my first 10K. January was, I think, 13. February, we've already hit 14, somewhere between 14 and 15. And I've got
4 months, you've doubled income.
Yeah. And the leads, they keep coming in. I've got 6 sales calls today. I've got 4 tomorrow. This is the biggest week I've ever had. And
That's awesome, buddy.
Yeah. I can't exactly.
So proud of you.
Thank you. Yeah.
It's so cool to be able to have this conversation in person, to now it's have more sales calls this week than you had the month before even having the conversation.
Yeah. Yeah. And
what was your biggest skepticism before joining AR?
My biggest skepticism
for booking that call. What was your biggest skepticism for booking the call to learn more about AR?
I would say just the price, honestly, the money, the investment. I was a little scared of it. I was like, I know this is going to be more expensive than what I'm currently doing, because I was working with another company doing leads and stuff. It was pretty cheap, and that makes sense. That's why it was cheap. So I was coming into it, I was like, I don't know if I'll be able to, afford the investment. And that was really the biggest thing. I knew that you guys would help me. I knew it was going to work just based on the testimonials you guys post. One of my business coaches actually works with you guys, Josh Friedman. And he was like, he's like, they're awesome. Highly recommend. And then we got on the sales call, and it was pretty smooth sailing. We were like, yeah, let's do it. I knew it would be worth the investment. I was just like, let's do it.
And so did you say that the knowing somebody that also used us is the reason that you went ahead and booked the call anyway? Because you just saw somebody else that you knew?
That definitely played a role in it. And honestly, I think the biggest reason is because I got to talk to you in person. And I was like, okay, I actually like this dude. I respect him. I respect the grind. I respect the hustle. And I was like, okay, I think he can help me. And that was the big one. But knowing that I had people that could vouch and say, yeah, it's worth it, that was what kind of pushed me over to make the decision to do it.
Love it. And what's been your biggest breakthrough inside, besides money, right? What's been your biggest breakthrough or relief or unexpected benefit that you just weren't expecting when joining AR that you're now got?
Biggest breakthrough, I would say, is knowing that I have the backend support from Liz. She's crushing it. Anytime I have an idea in my brain of something I want to implement into the business, a lead magnet or a new offer or building something out on the website, I know that I can go to Liz and say, hey, Liz, I need help. Can we work through this? Can you help me figure out how to do this? Because I'm like a child when it comes to technology and back end stuff. That's why my wife runs the back end, but she also runs her own business, and she's got her hands full too. So it was so awesome to be able to take some of that load off of her and myself and still be confident that we were going to be moving forward. And we have. It's paid off.
I've never asked this question before, but I am very curious. What has this done for your marriage?
Ooh, that's a great one. It's made it stronger. It honestly has made it stronger. It has brought us closer together because, like I said, it's taken some of the stress out of building a business together, because I'm sure you know this. Your wife has a business. You don't work on the business together too much. I don't know. But my wife and I were very close in building this business. I would not be able to be where I'm at without her. But it's stressful, man. She's very type A. I'm a little bit more type B. She's like, okay, when we get locked in on something, she's like, okay, give me the 3-sentence breakdown and then leave me alone. I'll figure it out, and then I'll come talk to you when I'm done. But now we can do more collaboration, and we can come together and we can have ideas that we want to bring to life, and we can bring them to the table, and we can say, okay, this is the direction we want to go to. And it's just been fun, man. It's such a good feeling to build something with your spouse. So it's made it stronger, man. It's amazing.
That's awesome. I actually have 3 posts that I'm posting today. That is advice for couples part 1, 2, and 3 of doing business together, because I've done a lot of business with a lot of partners, whether that's intimate partner or not. And so it's difficult. It really is difficult, but man, it's so blessed and works.
Yeah. It's trial and error, man. It's a lot of trial and error.
Yes. Hopefully my trials and errors I can pass along so people can just learn from them instead of having to go through them.
Yeah.
My dad always said that the best way to learn from somebody is to not make the same mistakes they did. So hopefully that helps do just that.
That's it. I can't wait to see the post, man. I'm gonna watch it with Rachel.
What would be the advice that you would give somebody that's debating or thinking about joining AR?
Easy. Just do it. Even if you're in my position where you feel like you don't have the money to invest, do it. Because it will 100%. When you make that investment into yourself, it will pay off. It will come back to yourself. So I'd say stop shopping around for coaches. I would say, Mike, you and AR, you guys, you know what you're doing. You take care of people like this. That's the biggest thing I've noticed is you guys, the hats, right? You send a hat to everybody. Send a box with a note. I have your number. When I'm fired up and I get a win, I can text you and know that you're going to text me back and you're going to help me and you're going to keep me going. And ultimately, I think that's what separates you guys from everyone else is how personalized it is and how much I can tell you care.
I appreciate that, man. Thank you so much.
Of course.
It's an honor to have great coaches like you actually helping real lives and real people change, because you're not just making a dent in that one person's life, but it is their family and the generations to come, dude. So kudos to you for all you're doing. And I cannot wait to see how many people you're going to impact this year, man.
I appreciate you, Mike. I'm excited too, man. I feel like we're just getting started too, man.
Just getting started. Well, dude, I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much for coming on today, dude. It's been an honor and a pleasure. And I can't wait to see you at the next event.
I'll be there. Appreciate you, Mike.